Hello everybody, welcome to Savage Ink Studios. I'm your host Ink, and today's sketchbook story time is about the raging justice boner that I got to have a couple of days ago. Great story. I am absolutely one of those I told you so assholes. Like, even if I don't say it, you can see it in my face. You know, if I told you don't do something or don't trust this person, and somebody doesn't listen to me, and then exactly what I said was gonna happen happens, I'm an asshole about it. Like, I do not stay humble at all. So, yeah, here's the story of my raging justice boner. So, I informed you guys that I got a new job, but I'm still currently with my old job. I sort of half unquit. Like, I told them I don't want to be management, just, quote unquote, demote me to a cashier, and then if there's an emergency and you need me to come in and help, then I'll come in and help if it's my day off from my other better paying job. So I'm working both right now. And the other day, alright, let's start at the beginning. When I started this job, I started in a really crappy location, the location where the guy threatened to stab me in the eye over 4 cents, that location. If you guys are familiar with my other videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. And during this time, a new cashier was hired. During that time, I was also working a lot of overnight shifts with an overnight freight crew to get boxes out of the back room and onto the shelves. I had a really good, really cohesive, teamworky type of team going. We got so much work done, we all got along, it was great. So this new hire wanted to work an overnight shift to push freight, and I didn't see why not. We could use as many hands as we can get. So the very first night that we had her on our overnight freight team, of the kids who worked the overnight freight team, 2 of them were actually sort of a couple. It wasn't like a well-known thing throughout the store, but for those of us on the overnight shift, we did know about it. So the very next morning, this new girl, we'll call her Asshat, okay? So Asshat goes to the other manager the next morning saying that these 2 people that the guy was, like, fighting overly aggressively with the girl when they were looking at their schedule, that he was trying to take her hours and that she didn't want him to, and that he was yelling at her and being really mean and aggressive. Keep in mind, I was actually in the office when they were looking at their schedules, and they agreed that, they were chatting it over, and he's like, oh, I'll take that shift from you, and she's like, oh, okay, great. Nothing even, like, raised voice about any of it. And Asshat goes to the store manager the next morning saying that he was being super aggressive with her or whatever. And so the store manager talks to me about it, and I tell her absolutely not, that's not true at all. They get along really, really well, and they had a normal conversation about switching hours, which I approved. And then she went to them, and both of them were like, what are you talking about? We don't fight. That's not a thing. That didn't happen. So from the very first shift that I worked with this girl, I knew that she was trouble, because you don't come onto my team and try to stir up drama between my workers. That's not okay, because we had a really good, strong team, and that's a load of crap. So I automatically had, like, a sideways eyeball at this person. So she's starting drama on her day shifts, but I'm working the night shift, so I'm not really involved in it. And then a week or 2 later, I'm outside on my lunch break, and the manager from the store next door walks over and says, hey, did you guys hire Asshat? And I was like, yeah, we did. She works here. Why? And she's like, because she got fired from our location for stealing, so you probably should keep an eye on her. And I'm like, why am I not even surprised? So of course, because I'm a mandated reporter as a manager, I had to go to the district manager and tell him, listen, her last employer just approached me and told me that she got fired from her last location for stealing, and she's already been causing problems. I definitely buy it, and, you know, I'm required to tell you. And he's like, okay, good to know, and that was it. So I end up working a day shift with this girl, and our policy in that store, because it is so busy all the time, is you get to smoke on your actual breaks. And if you're working a 4-hour shift, you get a 10-minute break. If you're working a 6-hour shift, you get half an hour lunch and 1 break. If you're working an 8-hour shift, you get a lunch and 2 10s. So, and our cashiers only work 4-hour shifts. So you're only there for 4 hours, right? And you get a 10-minute break in the middle of it to smoke your cigarettes, check your phone, whatever. So she comes in, and not even an hour into it, she's like, oh, my son keeps on blowing up my phone. Is it okay if I step outside and call him back? And me being a family-oriented person, I respect that. I'm like, yeah, just, you know, try and make it quick, because it's super busy in here, and we need all of our cashiers. So she goes out, takes way longer than she needs to, comes back in, oh, he's fine, I told him to stop blowing up my phone. Okay, great. Not even an hour after that, she's like, I need to go outside, I'm really stressed, I need a cigarette. I said, alright, well, why don't you clock out for your 10? Okay, so she does, and she comes back in. Not even a half an hour later, she's like, oh, I need another cigarette, I gotta go outside. And I'm like, dude, you can't keep just running outside. It's not a long shift, and we need our people in here. We're all trying to get our work done. Whatever. So she's crabby and throwing an attitude about it. And about half an hour after that, she tells me, I'm going over to Price Chopper to use the bathroom. And I'm like, we have a bathroom in the back of the store. You can use that. And she's like, well, I don't want to go back there because it's messy. And I'm like, it doesn't matter that it's messy. Every single other employee here uses our bathroom. We all deal with walking through a big room full of boxes to get there. That's what we do. You do not need to go to Price Chopper. She's like, well, you can't tell me what to do. You don't have the authority. And I told her, if you leave, you can just go home, and it's going to be a write-up. Because I told you not to leave the store again. I'm getting kind of sick of your antics. You can use the bathroom in the back, or you can leave and you can go home. And she's like, you don't have the authority to do that. You can't write me up. You're nobody, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to wait until the other manager gets here, and they'll let me go because they have more authority than you do. Which they didn't, by the way. Not the point. And I'm just like, had it up to my ears with this bitch right now. So I go outside, and I call the district manager, and I explain to him the situation. And he's kind of just like blowing it off like, you're a manager, you're supposed to deal with this on your own. However, the district manager has to sign write-ups. So my other assistant manager gets in, she asks her if she can go. My other assistant manager doesn't tell her yes, but she just walks out the door anyway. So I do the write-up, I inform the DM that he's got to come and sign it. He knows what it's all about. And the crazy level of unprofessionalism that this cashier has shown, and disrespect, and all sorts of against the rules rule breaking for a freaking 4-hour shift. I mean, come on, I've worked 8-hour shifts without a cigarette break because it was too busy for me to go on break, and that's not even legal, and I didn't bitch about it. So, whatever. So, point is, the district manager has been informed on more than one occasion that this girl is trouble, and consistently causes trouble with everyone that she works with. Bad attitude, and all that jazz. So after I got my transfer to my other store, I find out that the district manager promoted this one person who has been more trouble than every other person that we've hired combined, and promotes her to assistant manager. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty pissed about it. I'm like, why would you take the worst employee that we have and make them a manager? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, do you want this place to fail? Because it seems to me like you want this place to fail, because you keep on putting people who either don't know what they're doing or are just assholes in management positions and then coming in scratching your head like, gee, I wonder why everything is so terrible here. And I'm just like, you're a freaking idiot. Oh my god. So, you know, I was irked about it, glad that I had moved stores, because having her on my level and knowing that she was going to spend her entire shift outside smoking cigarettes and not doing any of the work that needed to be done would have been, infuriating. So, anyway, the assistant manager from that store that I had left from got a store manager position. Yay, good for her. She's a really good worker, and I'm so proud of her and very happy for her. She comes in while the district manager's there to sign paperwork for her pay upping, and because she's getting moved to our store because our store needs more managers. Hip hip hurrah. So we get talking, and she had said there are no managers left at the old store. I had known that one of them had been let go prior to now. But I had asked, oh, well, what about Asshat? Didn't she get moved up to management? And this girl tells me that, she got fired months ago for stealing cash out of the cash registers. She was making it look like returns were being done and then taking the money from it and putting it in her pocket. Now, let me tell you something about working one of those stores in a really bad neighborhood. There are cameras everywhere. I mean, there is probably a secret camera aimed up the ass cracks of every cashier there that they don't even know about. Cameras everywhere, because in an area that is that high theft, you have to have cameras everywhere. And of course, that means that there's one on every single register. So, this idiot was doing returns and then taking the money out of the drawer and putting it in her pocket, and apparently stole a ton of money from the company. And they found out, obviously, and she got fired. And this is my raging justice boner moment where I'm just like, I'm sorry, what am I gonna say? I told you so? I told you so. Yes, those are the words that I'm looking for. You took the worst employee that we had and moved them up to management, and they fucked the company out of tons of money. And you did it to yourself. Like, I get that I'm not at the top of the corporate totem pole or anything, and that no one is under any obligation to take heed of anything that I say. But I love that if you're gonna blow me off and not only ignore what I'm telling you, but to take that information and like double ignore it by promoting someone who has been causing trouble and has been known to steal, and then they steal a ton of money from the company, and it's on your head for, like, letting that happen. Like, justice boner. And that's that. So it might not sound that, thrilling to all of you, but to me, I'm just like, God, I love it when I'm right. And I do. I'm a cocky asshole about it. So, there is your story time for today. I hope you enjoyed my drawing. I hope you enjoyed my little moment of mental victory. You guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them below. If you guys want to get more involved with the making of the content, you can always hit up my DeviantArt page and vote in the polls, and I do use those to make videos. I'm sorry that my upload schedule has been a little funky, but next week I start a more regular work schedule where I will have a lot more time to make videos, and hopefully better quality videos that you guys will really enjoy. I've noticed that my views have been dropping a little bit, so I don't know if my content is getting dull or if the artwork just isn't up to par, but if you guys could let me know what I can do different so that you guys will want to watch the videos, I will absolutely try to adhere to that the best that I can. I'm not just here for me, I'm here for you guys, Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys.